to start with stem. So first of all, we must know about certain general characteristics of the stem. So first, you should know that the stem develops from the plumule of the embryo. Just like roots would develop from the radicle, stem develops from the plumule. Now, it is the ascending part of the plant body, that means the part of the plant body that remains above the soil, and it bears terminal bud for growth in length. Okay. Now suppose this being the soil, this is the stem. Okay. You know from the previous class already that the stem is divided into nodes and internodes, isn't it? The region from where the leaves would arise, that is the node, and in between two nodes remains a space or a gap that is going to be known as internode, isn't it? So, at the tip of the stem usually would remain a small bud. Okay, so we call it the terminal bud or apical bud because it's present at the tip. Tip means terminal or apical, right? So we call it terminal or apical bud. So this bud is a immature underdeveloped shoot being surrounded by certain immature leaves. Okay, so this bud will keep on increasing the length of the stem. So terminal bud allows growth in length of the stem. Alright. Do remember in the plant body also there is another type of bud present that is usually present in this axil. Angle between the stem and the leaf is called axil. So a bud will be always present at the axil of the leaf. So we call it axillary bud. Okay. We'll also talk about bud a little bit in details after the general characteristics. Okay. Now, see, it is differentiated into nodes and internodes, and the nodes would bear leaves that we have already talked about. Now, young stem is green and photosynthetic, but eventually as the stem would become more older, it will become dark brown and woody. At first it will be soft and photosynthetic, later on it will become dark brown and woody and lose its function of photosynthesis. Now, it exposes the parts like the leaves, fruits and flowers in most suitable position. So this is one of the most important characteristics of stem. It will stand upright. That is the most common type of stem. Of course, there are many other stems which will not be able to stand upright and all. But if we talk about the most common one, then stems usually would stand upright and it will hold all the plant parts like the leaves or fruits or flower at the most suitable position where they can undergo optimum functioning. Okay. Next, it helps in the conduction of water and minerals from the root to the leaf and food from the leaves to the rest of the plant body. See, so if you remember, plant body consists of two types of conducting tissues. One is xylem, which carries water and minerals from the root to the leaves, and there is phloem that will carry ready-made food or organic solute from the leaf to the rest of the plant body, right? So this conduction or transport of material will be happening because of the stem. So it is the stem which will help water and mineral from the root to pass into the leaf, and it will also allow the food materials to be taken from the leaf to the rest of the part of the plant body. Last, it is positively phototropic, that means it will move towards light. Negatively geotropic and hydrotropic, means it will be negatively or it will be moving away from gravity and also from water. Okay, so this is all about the general characteristics of stem. Let us talk a little bit regarding the buds before we move ahead and learn about stem in details. Now, let us talk a little bit regarding bud. So, buds, these are immature shoots and they are going to remain protected or they are going to remain surrounded by certain immature leaves. These leaves are going to provide protection to the bud. Okay. So now, there are certain types of buds that are present in the plant body. Like, if we talk about apex of the plant body, we call it terminal bud or apical bud. And in case the buds are present in the plant body on the sides laterally, then we call it lateral buds. Okay. The most common type of lateral bud is this. That is axillary bud. Suppose from the nodes arises the leaf, and this being the axil of the leaf, right? So in the axil of the leaf, the bud that will be present, that is known as axillary bud, the most common type of bud. Okay. Next is, so let me tell here about axillary bud means it develops from axil. Hence axillary bud. Now next, accessory bud. Accessory bud means a bud that will remain, suppose this being the node, this being the leaf, right? And this being the axillary bud. So if a bud is present either above or on the sides, either above or on the sides of the axillary bud, we will call it accessory bud. So it is on top or sides of axillary bud. Alright. Next is extra axillary bud. Extra axillary bud means a bud that will be present in the node. Somewhere in the node it will be present, but away from the leaf base, from where the leaf is attached with the plant body. That point is known as leaf base. This extra axillary bud will be present away from the leaf base, but in the node. So in the node, but away from leaf base. Alright. Finally, we come to adventitious bud. Adventitious buds mean buds which will arise from any part of the plant body other than the node. So it will have no connection with the node. It will generate from any part other than node. So, generates from any part other than node. Alright. So now adventitious bud, because they can arise from any part of the plant body, can be again of three types. If they arise from the leaf, we call them foliar buds. If they arise from root, then we call them radical buds. And if they arise from the stem, we call it colline. Stem but other than node, we call it colline buds. Okay. Examples are as such. For foliar buds, we have bryophyllum. For radical, we have sweet potato. And for colline, we have jackfruit. So this is a overall idea regarding the buds. Now let us go into the details of discussion regarding stems. Now let us start with modification of stem. Okay. Now first of all, what is modification of stem? Whenever a plant part would undergo some kind of changes in form and function to serve various types of purpose of the plant. It may be storage, it may be photosynthesis, it may be any other type of need. So this will be then termed as modification. Okay. So likewise, we'll be discussing a few modification of stem here. So first of all, modification of stem can be of three types, and under that there are various subcategories. So first of all, before we go into details discussion of each of this category, you must first learn this chart, so that you first come to know that which modification falls under which category. Only then you can be properly understanding the details. If you don't know that which particular type belongs under which category, then it will create a lot of confusion. So all of you must first learn this chart, and once you are very clear about it, only then you should go further. Okay. So let's see what are the three categories in brief. So first modification of stem is aerial stem. Aerial stem means the stem that will remain suspended in the air, means they will be standing upright. Okay, they will be standing upright with the substratum. Okay, so aerial stem can be of three types: reduced, erect and weak. On the other hand, the other category is subaerial. Subaerial stem means they will neither stand upright in the substratum nor will they remain inside the soil. So what they will do? They will simply be trailing on the ground. Means they will take the support of the ground to spread. Okay, that's why we call them subaerial. Okay, and finally is underground stem. So from the name itself, you know, these are the stem which will be found inside the soil. So this will be found upright in the soil. This will be found inside the soil, and something in between. Some stems, they will not be able to stand upright, nor will they remain inside the soil. Rather, they will be trailing horizontally in the soil, and by taking the support of the soil, they will spread. That's why they will be under subaerial category. Okay, so subaerial category has four types: runner, stolon, offset and sucker, whereas underground type also has four types: rhizome, tuber, corm and pulp. So learn the chart properly, and then we go into details. Now let us start with aerial stem. First of all, aerial stem, as I have told you already, these are the stem that can stand upright in the substratum. Okay, so it will start with reduced stem. Reduced stem means stems which are reduced into small disc-like structure, and the nodes and internodes, they won't be prominently formed or would rather remain indistinguishable. Alright. So here I have taken the example of an aquatic plant, Lemna. You can see this is the green photosynthetic stem which do not bear as such nodes and internodes. Okay, but it will remain afloat in the substratum. Next, erect stem. Now erect stem, all of you very well know, this is the most common type of aerial stem, right? Here the stem is going to be strong enough that without holding on to any support, it can properly stand upright in its substratum. Examples can be many, like mango, banyan, apple, guava, and you can name so many, right? Next, weak stem. As the name itself suggests, this particular category, the stems are weak. They can stand upright but not by their own. They have to be holding on to a solid support, only then they can rise up. Okay, so they are thin, soft and weak, and they require support to stand upright. Alright. Now, weak stems can be again of two types: twiners and climbers. Twiners means here the stem may be weak, but then it is strong enough that it can itself coil around the solid support and then it can climb up. Okay, it does not require any additional structures to hold on to the support. It can itself coil around the support and rise up. Alright, example is Lublub. Whereas for climbers, climbers are those weak stemmed plants. But the stem itself is not strong enough to coil around the solid support. Rather, it requires some kind of extra clinging or clasping structures. Okay, for example, tendrils, which are the most common. Like, these are the stem which bear tendrils to coil around the support. So, alone, without any grasping structure, it will not be able to hold on to the solid support, or it won't be able to climb up. So, that's the major difference between twiner and climber. Example for climber will be pea, passiflora, etc. So after the aerial stem, now next category is subaerial stem. As I have already told you before, subaerial stem means stems which are weak and hence they take the help of the ground to spread. They cannot be standing upright, neither are they inside the soil. Rather, they will be horizontally trailing in the soil, and with the help of the ground, they will spread in every direction. Okay, so they are of four types. First, runners. Now, runners are certain kind of spatial, narrow, horizontal prostrate branch which develops at the base of the crowns. Now you might be thinking, which are the crowns? See, this horizontally trailing line or branch, this is the runner. Okay, and the runner have nodes and internodes. So these are the nodes. Okay, from the nodes above comes out a crown. Okay, a cluster of leaflets that can be termed as crown. Alright, whereas below the node remains the adventitious roots. Because the roots are coming out from the node of the stem, hence they are adventitious roots. Okay. Now, they spread in different directions and bear new crown and adventitious roots. So as they will grow or elongate, they will keep on spreading because they will keep bearing nodes, and from each node above will come out a crown and below will be arising adventitious roots. So likewise they will keep on spreading in every direction. For example, the most common example is lawn grass or doob grass. Okay, if you try to pluck out a lawn grass, you might have seen that along with that one crown, many other crowns which are joined to one another, they now start to come out automatically, isn't it? That's because they are all joined together by a horizontally subaerial stem, that is the runner. Okay, so because it spreads in every direction, that's why we call it runner. Alright, now next is stolon. Stolon is same like a runner, but then the runner was straight, you can see, right? But here it is not straight, rather it is a little bit arched. It shows a little bit of curvature, right? So this curved runner or arched runner, that will be termed as stolon. Otherwise it will be same like a runner. So in this arched stem, you can find from the nodes arises the crown above and below arises the adventitious roots. Alright, so in short we can say that stolons are arched runners, and their major advantage is that they being arched, they can cross over small obstacles that comes in their way. Okay, example will be jasmine, wild strawberry, peppermint, etc. Now moving to the next one is offset. Now, for knowing or understanding offset, first thing that you must know is the meaning of a term that's very important called rosette. Okay? See, sometimes the leaves, they might not separate from one another. Rather, they might remain all together, arranged in the form of a flower. Okay, so if the leaves are all together and they are arranged in the form of a flower, we will call it a rosette arrangement. Okay, see, the leaves, how are they separated from one another? Suppose this is the stem, these are the nodes, right? So it is because the internode grows, because this internode has grown apart, that's why two nodes have been separated. And that's why the two leaves that were arising from these nodes, they were also separated. Now just imagine, suppose in this plant, the internodal growth is absent. The internode did not grow apart. So what will happen? All the nodes will remain together. And if all the nodes remain together, all the leaves which are arising from each node, they will also remain together. In the form of a flower, they will look then, isn't it? So that type of flower-like arrangement formed by leaves would be known as rosette arrangement. Okay, or you can say rose-like arrangement formed by leaves is called rosette arrangement. Alright, so now see what is offset. See, offset is first of all one internode long runner. So it will have only two nodes and in between a single internode. So it is a one internode long runner which is mostly found in the rosette plants at ground or water level. Okay, so this being the one internode, these are the nodes, isn't it? From the nodes above, what are going to arise? These are the leaves. What you can see here, flower-like arrangement, these are actually the leaves. These are the petiole of the leaf and this is the lamina. Okay, so these are the swollen leaves that are present, and below the node, these are the adventitious roots. Alright, so this being the rosette arrangement of leaves, this being the adventitious roots, this is the opposite. Alright, so see, they are one internode long runners found in rosette plants at ground or water level. Example is mostly Eichhornia, that is commonly known as water hyacinth, and Pistia, that is water lettuce. Both are hydrophytes or aquatic plants. You might have seen water hyacinth. It bears beautiful mauve color flowers and are mostly found in the aquatic systems like ponds or lakes, and it was introduced in our country by the Europeans so that it could be used to decorate our lakes and ponds. But later on, this plant would grow so rapidly that it would completely cover the lakes and ponds, and as it would cover the entire lakes and ponds, oxygen supply or dissolved oxygen in the water would become so less that that would lead to death of aquatic organisms like fish, isn't it? So this is something that is associated with Eichhornia. Alright, now next is the last one, that's sucker. See, as you can see in the diagram itself, this is a horizontally trailing stem, right? This stem, as you can see, would eventually arise upwards and will give rise to a new plant, right? So this stem that is trailing horizontally and giving rise to new plants repeatedly, that is known as the sucker. Okay, let's see what it is exactly. Spatial non-green stem branch which arises from the base of the erect shoot or crown. This being the crown, so it remains below the erect shoot or crown. Eventually it will come upwards and give rise to a new plant, and this process will be repeated. Alright, example is chrysanthemum, mint, banana and pineapple. So that much for today's class. In the next class, we'll start with underground stem. Thank you.